tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop me, somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The law, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review brought to you by the Sundance Film Festival. This one here, my first true horror movie from the Sundance Film Festival. Listen, their midnight section was really good this year with a lot of good films, but none of that I felt were actually horror films until I got to this one. And this one is named Master, and this is directed by, and I'm hoping I'm saying your name right, Mariama Diallo, and it stars Regina Hall, Zoe Renee, and Amber Gray. And here's the quick synopsis. Two African-American women begin to share disturbing experiences at a predominantly white college in New England. Let me first off start off by saying this movie is spooky. This movie has some of the best spooky moments, not only of this film festival, but of the last 6 months. I'm not going to say even early part of this year because that's not fair. Of maybe the last 6 months. At times, this movie creeped me out with just the way this film was shot. Oh my goodness. She's an amazing director. I didn't even take time to see if she had like other work done. I watched this movie twice during the film festival because I was just enamored by how amazingly it was shot, paced, written, the setups in it, the deep lore around the storyline, which introduces us to a character played by Zoe Renee, who's coming to college. And she ends up with a roommate, and the room that she ends up in is a room that years ago, the first black female student of this college died. And then there's a history about a witch who possibly took over this student and made the student kill herself. And then we have also Regina Hall playing the new, I want to say dean of the school, but they call her master of the school, which threw me off completely that they call her master of the school. But she's the first female black master of this supposedly Ivy League college. So when you throw all those elements in there with them two, and the way that they play with race and horror in this movie is great. Because as Zoe starts having these nightmares of things happening that she can't explain, things that go bump in the night that she can't explain, at the same time you have Regina Hall character having very disturbing things happening at this house that she took over. In one scene in particular, all the former masters, again, horrible name, but I get why they did it. All the former masters of the college meet at her house, which is the house for the masters of the college. And she goes in her kitchen, and on her shelf, turned around, not facing her, and she turns it around, is I call it a mammy jar. If you all know what a mammy jar is, it's a jar depicted of like it's or a pickaninny jar. Some people may call it a pickaninny jar, and just that is it's shot so well, that scene, and it's so disturbing just to see her facial reaction to this being in this house, because that would mean someone thought it was okay to even have that in there in this school. Is nuts. It's crazy. And then when we get Zoe, when she first gets to her dorm, again, I'm not going to spoil much. I'm not going to spoil anything actually, but I'm just give you a background of just how they play with race and horror in this film. When she meets her roommate for the second time, and her roommate is in their dorm room with a bunch of her friends, and her friends ask Zoe, like, who are you? And then after they ask, who are you, they begin to name just any famous black person that they can think of. It's a scene that's set up that some may laugh about it, but to be a black person, you understand the deep-rooted racism that's behind doing something like that. It is Again, it's another one of those scenes that is sneaky but powerful when you see it, and it will throw you off. Again, as the film progresses, you up the horror level of it, and when you up the horror level of it, when you up the spooky nature of this film, it just became an amazing watch. Again, you don't get too many horror films that deal in deep subject matter that are paced well. This movie is paced well. It is acted beautifully. You understand why these two female characters like are going through everything that they're going through, and the feelings that are there. You feel like you're on a ride with them through everything they go through in this film. And that's highly important, because if it was unbelievable, the things that were happening to them, or if you just didn't like or believe that character, you couldn't get into this film. But you love this character. The shots are set up amazingly well. And the racism is so hard to watch at times in this film. Again, it's another scene. I know I'm not trying to spoil it, but I'm telling you. With Zoe's character, where she's just leaving a library and her book bag goes off. And she tells the lady behind the desk, like, oh, this happened yesterday. You know, not a big deal. The lady then proceeds to say, oh, we still have to check. So she pulls out a couple of books to show the woman, like, you know, I have nothing in here. And the woman then proceeds to say, well, I need to take your book back and look through it. In the background, you see two white students just staring as this is happening. And you're like, wow. It just, the feeling of dread of wondering, would she have done anything of this nature if that happened to the white students and not the black student? Especially one of few, if I want to say close to only 2 black students even shown in this film. So it's not a lot of black kids at all on this campus. It's not a lot of black people on this campus. So for the level of racism that happens in this film to still feel realistic with not having a big, huge black population out on this campus, it's amazing for that reason. This is something that I think a lot of people are going to love. If you love horror movies, this is it. If you love horror movies that make you think, this is the movie for you. This is the standout horror movie from the Sundance Film Festival. So, Master, again, from the Sundance Film Festival. I'm not sure if this film has distribution yet. I'm not 100% sure. I hope so. If not, Shutter or what is it, IFC Midnight, or one of you all better come and snatch this up immediately. But out of a possible 10, I'm going to give Master a 9 out of 10. This is a great horror movie. It spooked me out. And horror movies don't spook me out anymore. I watch them all the time. This one spooked me out. Because again, it dealt with the horror elements of it, the race element of it, while neither one of them overshadowed each other. Like, the horror elements are so good that if you took away the race bits in this film, it wouldn't matter, because the way she shoots the horror elements in this movie is great. If you took away the horror elements, you could have an amazing dramatic film here that I'm just enamored and amazed that this was pulled off as well as it was, because this was not a film at Sundance that was top of my list. It was something that intrigued me, and then I said, well, let's give it a shot and see what we get here. And I'm so happy I did, because this is a great film. So again, when I find out if it has distribution, we'll put it in the description so you all can check it out, because I want everybody humanly possible to see this film. Not just black people, white people, anybody who loves horror movies. I think anybody can enjoy this film, and I think everyone should see this film. This is a work of art. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.